Hi guys and welcome to Truckzone.com. This is Mohit Soni. What is in front of you is the BMW F900 GS for the year 2025, and there's been a significant revamp over the last year. This was of course revealed in 2024. It has come to India as a 2025, and this is something that has been dramatically changed on paper because there is a significant reduction in weight, in the way it looks, and a whole host of other things that have changed as well. But at the same time, it retains a lot of aspects that were there earlier, and this is something that comes together really well because, as always, BMW Motorrad really knows how to package motorcycles really well, and they will always keep the tradition alive. They will make it much better, and the scope to make it better has been significant. Just like the 1300, the 900 here, of course, as the name says, has gone up from 800, 850 to 900, and of course the European market still get the 800 with the A2 license. So that's that. But we are going to focus on the 900cc, and as always, we are going to start with the design. What you can see in front of you is a brand new, very small and very compact LED lamp here, which gets the LED DRL as well. Let me just start it up for you. Meanwhile, let me just, yeah, it's a remote key, so it takes time. And yeah, that's what you can see. The LED DRL looks great. You've got the high beam and the low beam here, yeah, right there. The illumination and spread is also good enough, but it's great for our roads. It's great for intercity highways and everything, and dark alleys and roads. But I think it's going to need a little bit more if you want to do off-roading, because it's a fast motorcycle. Enough illumination is required at the end of the day. So that's that. You've got a fixed windscreen, surprisingly. You've got LED turn indicators, which look quite nice. This new color here looks quite great. It's somewhere between green and light green. I don't know how will it turn out to be in the video, but it's somewhere between green and lime green, which I think is great. Most of the motorcycle is black, apart from the red and green stickering seen here. You've got a red subframe, which is grabbing a lot of attention, and even more attention comes from this massive standard Acropovic exhaust. So BMW is offering this as a standard thing on all variants, and that is something that is quite unique and very impressive as well. Just like the 1300, and just like the trend that is in the market right now is these turn indicators, which will serve as stop lights as well. So that is pretty amazing to see how compact things have become. And yeah, that is the seat, which is something that is adjustable, and you can get a higher seat, you can get a lower seat. I think the standard seat that is around 835 mm. You can look that up. It can be different from market to market, and those are of course tubeless spoke wheels with a 150 section 70 tire at the back, and surprisingly small 90 section tire at the front, which I will talk about more while riding. So yeah, that is a big tank, 14 liters, and 14 number also reminds me of the fact that this bike is now 14.5 kilos lighter over the original, over the previous bike. So that's pretty impressive. That's the quick shifter right there, and this is a similar layout to the 1300 that we just reviewed. This button of course is different. You've got adjustable levers, good quality, decent quality handguards here, and same can be seen here. That is for the ride modes. That is the heated grip, which can be used in India for, let's say, the northern markets, and that's quite impressive. Cruise control is here. The screen we've seen earlier continues to be the same in the 1300 and the 900 here, which was the same case in the previous 800, 850 as well. So let's get in the menu and still show you what this bike has. In vehicle settings, you've got the ride mode pre-selection, and you can see there are rain, road, dynamic, enduro, enduro pro. So there is 5 variants, 5 modes to choose. There is of course the RDC, tire pressure monitoring, and the lights is the LED DRL. This is the system setting. The connections, as you can see, rider helmet, passenger helmet, and mobile device. That is the display, status line, content, basically whatever you want to show on the top. So that's great. So we can cut out a few things so that it becomes easier for us to navigate through the upper part, which I will come to in a bit. Let me just finish with this line of information. And in information, you can see the license and software version, and you can reset it all. So yeah, that's the setting. Then you get back to the my vehicle. You don't have a sport mode like you did in the 1300, and that's how you can see all the details of this bike right here, including the tire pressure monitoring system, which is a fantastic thing. It in fact even tells you what PSI you should have, what you have right now with the pillion and everything. So this is really great, and something that riders should take note of, because this is actually very necessary. It changes the way the ride and handling behaves of the motorcycle every single time you do this, along with the right weight. So yeah, make use of this feature as much as possible is my recommendation. And yeah, we're back to the main screen. So yeah, on the top, just keep on looking. If I go through this here, yeah, this button on the top button here, so that keeps on changing. And yeah, we have pretty much everything. We have the ride modes, and yeah, you've got keyless ignition, you've got a keyless entry to the fuel cap as well, so that's very impressive. And yeah, that's what the bike is in terms of features, in terms of layout, in the way it looks. I think it looks quite nice, very compact, at least at the front. Rear of course has continued to be slim, and I'm not particularly a fan of this colors that is on offer right now, but something that you get used to if you want something bright, because I don't think there are many color options to choose from. But let's get to the riding part, because that is something that is really well done by BMW Motorrad in this bike behaves over the previous version, because I've had a significant time with the older version a few years ago, and I have surprisingly a very strong memory of what that was and what this is, because there has been a lot of change. So what is the BMW GS F900 like to ride on our roads? Well, to begin with, this is a board version of the 850cc to almost 900cc, and this now makes 10 bhp more and 1 Newton meter more over the previous bike. And this is something that is massively impressive, because power now goes from 95 to 105, and the torque goes from 92 to 93. And there is a significant weight reduction of 14.5 kilos. So that gives the bike a fantastic top speed of almost reaching 250 kilometers an hour in no time for an adventure bike. That is pretty impressive, because it can do so many things off the road and it can be so good on the road. It is actually quite brilliant. The acceleration times have dropped dramatically. This can do easily a sub 4 second 0 to 100, and you know, all of that is done so well with the new regulations and emissions kept in check. There is still a lot of character from that 270-degree crank. That has always been the case with this inline 2. This behaves surprisingly different than any other inline 2 in the market right now, because of the way the crankshaft you know, has been set up, the way that firing order and the crankshaft degree has been set up. This becomes a bike that is very impressive. Is one of the most characterful inline 2 cylinders that you will find in the world right now, and that is really impressive. The sound is fantastic. With the Akrapovic, it still sounds a little bit you know, muted, because of course of the regulations that have kicked in, but I'm pretty sure if it's standard, then it is not a problem, because it still almost retains that very special engine note, the exhaust note and intake note that this bike has always been known for. So BMW has made a very clever move of keeping the Akrapovic exhaust as standard, which is you know, keeps things in check when it comes to the engine. And rideability, low end torque is great, mid range is good, top end is very good as well. Low end of course isn't out and out you know, let's say so much so that you will just keep on spinning your wheels, but the way you will go about 2000-3000 rpm on a dirt section of road. Let's discuss off-road section for now. You'll realize that there is you know, enough power all the time for our situations, and going high speed over trails and doing low speed trails, which India has a lot of them. High speed trails, you don't get that very quickly, or you know, so a lot of training grounds where people learn off-road nowadays throughout the country have very slow trails and, you know, challenges, that uphills and downhills that they have to go through. So that is something that will also be well accomplished by the F900 GS, and it will do high-speed trails really well as well, something that it is more born to do. So because of that power and torque and the bigger engine and everything, because we know there are 400-500cc engine bikes in this category as well, which are really accomplished, but this one in the 900cc space really feels fantastic. So there is rideability in the city, on the highway. There is a lot of torque and power to navigate through trail sections as well. The front and rear brakes work really well. The tires are good enough at the back. The front, I think, should have been at least 100, because in certain situations where I had to dodge a few stones and I wasn't really going very far away from them, I almost almost ended up touching them. There was a slight sort of you know, that moment where you feel like there could have been more you know, tire patch to negate that feeling of, once you scrape a rock or a boulder from the side, you need a little bit more contact patch. So that's that. If you are, it's something that I mistakenly did and noticed that this is how it is. On the 1300 I did a similar thing. Unfortunately our roads can get screwed up from out of nowhere and very suddenly, so you don't get that option to get corrected. Of course the chassis and the suspension are very, very good. They are something that is very something that gives you a lot of confidence. It gives you that stability. It has that forgiving nature, so you are really out of it. But I think just for many reasons, while riding on the road and on off-road, a 100 section tire would have been a little bit better. It would have given you far more confidence, something that would have made things even life a little bit more easier. But then again, this is a setup that has been going on for years, so I think that's fine as well. You will have to be a little bit careful on that aspect. It will not throw you up or anything like that, but that is something that you need to take care of while riding as well. It is not the bike's fault. This is something that I'm trying to tell you something from my experience. Like I said, the brakes are good, the tires feel great on road and off road, and the grip is good. I don't think you need to change the tires. These tires are actually good enough, and so that's that. I've spoken about the engine, the chassis, the on-road, off-road behavior. I think what remains is the part that it is great to handle twisties and fast sweepers and slow corners as well, because you sit a little bit more forward cant. The handlebars are slightly far away, so off-roading this bike while standing up, grabbing the handlebar is so much easier. At the same time, that particular ergonomics gives you a lot of leverage while riding on the road. You can make a lot of corrections between mid corner, and that is something that makes the F900 GS a great bike to live with, because on the road, on the twisties, on the trails, something that we're getting used to this year. In the last year, we've gone through a lot of very good, highly well done adventure bikes, from the 1300 to this and all of other bikes in between. So we are really into off-roading this year. We've done quite a lot of off-road on bikes, and this really tells us that the adventure bikes segment is really booming. The F900 GS is going to make a significant impact in this segment. There is of course the Triumph, there is of course the Ducati, that at least these are the two brands that BMW India deals with and competes with on a larger basis. But the F900 GS definitely feels far more better. It might be 14.5 kilos lighter, but it feels like it's now a 25 kilo lighter motorcycle in the way it feels, how it's confident while doing everything. And BMW's big bikes are also doing really well in every regard, be it sales, after sales, service, and the kind of community that BMW Motorrad is also coming up with, so many activities on offer. So a clearly well done package mechanically in terms of design and the way everything comes together. Really impressed with the F900 GS. The pricing also of course is a little bit expensive, but then again, the feel, the way it rides, and the way it will behave, and the way it will put a smile on your face every now and then, with this great engine that is on offer even in today's time, with that kind of exhaust note and intake note and the feel, I think it's well worth the price. That's it. See you next time in the next video. Until then, goodbye.